But ivy, creeping, winding, clinging, bound the oars and decked the sails in heavy clusters. Bacchus himself, great bunches garlanding his brow, brandished a spear that vine leaves twined, and at his feet fierce spotted panthers lay. Tigers and lynxes too, in phantom forms. The men leapt overboard, all driven mad or panic-stricken. Medon's body first began to blacken, and his spine was arched into a curve. "What magic shape is this?" cried Lysippus. But even as he spoke, his mouth widened, his nose curved out, his skin turned hard and scaly. Libyas, trying to pull the thwarting oars, saw his hands suddenly shrink. Hands no longer. Fins they might be called. Another, when he meant to clasp his arms around a hawser, had no arms and jumped limbless and bending backwards into the waves. His tail forked to a sickle shape and curved like a half moon. All round the ship they leapt in showers of splashing spray. Time after time they surfaced and fell back into the sea, playing like dancers, frolicking about in fun, wide nostrils taking in the sea to blow it out again. Of the whole 20, that was the crew she carried, I alone remained. As I stood trembling, cold with fear, almost out of my wits, the god spoke words of comfort. "Cast your fear aside, sail on to Naxos." Landing there, I joined his cult, and now am Bacchus's faithful follower. "We've listened to this rigmarole," said Pentheus, "to give our anger time to lose its force. Away with him, you slaves, rush him away, rack him with fiendish tortures till he dies, and send him down to the black night of Styx." So there and then Achates was hauled off and locked in a strong cell. But while the fire, the steel, the instruments of cruel death were being prepared, all of their own accord the doors flew open, all of their own accord the chains fell, freed by no one from his arms. Pentheus stood firm. This time he sent no scout, but sallied forth himself to where Cithaeron, the mountain chosen for the mysteries, resounded with the Bacchants' shouts and song. Like a high-mettled charger whinnying when brazen-throated trumpets sound for war, and fired with lust for battle, so the noise of long-drawn howls that echoed through the air excited Pentheus, and his anger flared. In the encircling forest, halfway up, there lies a level clearing, bare of trees, open and in full view from every side. Here, as his impious gaze was fixed upon the mysteries, the first to see him, first to rush in frenzy, first to hurl her staff, her Bacchic staff, and wound her Pentheus, was his mother. "Here," she called her sisters, "here, that giant boar that prowls about our fields, I'm going to kill that boar." The whole mad throng rush at him, all united, and pursue their frightened quarry, frightened now for sure, now using less fierce language, blaming now himself, admitting now what he's done wrong. Wounded, he cries, "Help, Aunt Autone! Mercy, Actaeon's ghost should move your mercy. Actaeon's name's unknown." She tore away his outstretched hand, and Ino seized and wrenched the other off, with no hands left to stretch out to his mother. "Look, mother," he cried, and showed the severed stumps. And at the sight, Agave howled and tossed her head and hair, her streaming hair, and tore his head right off. And as her bloody fingers clutched it, cried, "Hurrah for victory, the triumph's mine." As swiftly as the winds of autumn strip from some tall tree its lightly hanging leaves that frosts have fingered, so those wicked hands tore Pentheus limb from limb. That lesson learnt by his example, The Theban women throng the novel rites, honoring the god divine and offering incense in his holy shrine.